Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Becky Morrison. I'm here at United Way of the Midlands, and I work with our engagement network, like Women in Philanthropy. So thank you all so much for joining us today. I think I see some executive committee members. If you are not yet involved with Women in Philanthropy and are interested in learning more about leadership opportunities, ways to volunteer at upcoming events, please, at the end of this, Danielle, chat with me. We would be more than happy to get you plugged in to learn more about how you can make impact with Women in Philanthropy and United Way influence. So it is my honor today to introduce Margaret Ellen Pender. She is Principal and CFO of an investment management company with experience of serving on multiple boards and councils. She knows the importance of balance when it comes to maintaining one's career and personal passions. I think we all can lean on for inspiration. In this next session of our 5-part leadership development series, Margaret's going to share her secrets of the trade for attaining both happiness and success. I'm going to be frantically writing that down. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for your time.
So we're going to do a test about whether y'all can hear me. Can y'all hear me about? Yes. My mother said I didn't sleep for the first 2 years of my life. That's so much to say. So I am a talker. I've taken my watch off. Make sure I don't talk too long. But also, if you do have any trouble, give me a hand and I'll speak more loudly. The material that I want to share with y'all today, I can't take much credit for it, and you'll hear more about that in just a few minutes. But I want to begin by telling you that I firmly believe that surrounding yourself with good people is one of the most wise mantras in all of life. Speaking of good people, the crowd assembled in this room is a classic example of that belief in action. Many of you I know, and many of you I just think your association with this organization. I know that's a common thread. Thank you to Quinn and Kenna for inviting me to speak today, and thanks to all of you for taking time out of your schedules. I'd also particularly like to thank my coworkers who are attending, Sarah Paul and Julie Watkins. Sarah formed our original connection to it, and she deserves all the credit for it. I had a teacher several years ago who said, when you're speaking with a group of people who don't know you very well, it's very important to share with them to what radio station they were to. So I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about my background to make my content make more sense. I grew up in a family of very modest things. My mother was a school teacher, and my dad was a traveling salesman. I have small town roots, and probably don't live in the city here in Columbia. I'm an avid outdoors woman, and recent flip-flops are my favorite footwear. I was the kid who sat on the side of the pool during my first swim lessons. I'm sure my mother was distraught over that, given how expensive they are. I'm a calculator, an assessor, an inspector, and I'm not a listener. I am a better disseminator of information than I am a creator of wisdom and thought. I'm just telling Sarah about that. That being said, my 2 profound conclusions at the old age of 47 are that success can largely be defined by knowing who we call and have a problem. And perhaps more importantly, that we can choose to be either relational or transactional. In our work, in our professional lives, we have the opportunity to treat people and deals as though they are going to be regulars in our story. My advice is to choose them. I started college as a biology major, determined that I wanted to do something in sports medicine. But then I hit a huge wall my sophomore year in chemistry, and it shook me to my core. My formula had always been hard work with results, and that formula very much worked in no one. Ultimately, in the most gentle of redirections, one of my professors shared some very powerful insight. He looked at me and said, Margaret, not everybody is next to yourself. And that was my first experience with negative affirmation. I'll hold on that a second. In the meantime, I was also hearing, Margaret, your scholarship requirement is not for we want you to try things, and we want you to fail. After college, I spent 4 years in Wachovia. I love banking, but in truth, I would have been better suited to the culture. The pressure of the sales culture was not a good fit for me. And honestly, I didn't love supervising people. Ultimately, that's been proved to be funny. Then I spent about a year and a half at the Old Bakery, which is an architecture and engineering firm, and I was doing cost accounting work for them. This was my second milestone of negative affirmation. And my definition for negative affirmation is solidifying inexperience where my gifts do not lie, what things I do not enjoy, and in what environments I'm not successful. I began my career at Anchor when I still work today in 2002. 20-year anniversary this fall. I met Pat through my cousin's wife. Ironically, this cousin of mine had married later in life, and his first date with his now wife was orchestrated by my mother after being stuck on Highway 261, which is the road back to the beach, on a hot summer day. I just love that story because it's so classic. So, Pat and I were going to the same church, worked for the same bank, lived around the corner from each other and had never met. Our initial conversations were about my hopeful return to banking. I was asking his advice. That's also a practice that has proven to be invaluable throughout my career. Ultimately, I became Pat's first employee. We had barely $10 million in the management. Pat didn't get paid for 3 years, and I had to work part-time for another friend who had a small business. Today, I will share with you an all-humility that Anchor manages about $1 billion. We serve about 600 households, and we have 18 team members. That is truly a testimony to assembling to anyone in this room with us today. Yeah, sure. So now remember that part about me being a kid who sat on the side of the pool? I was terrified when I made the move to a startup company. The practical common sense side of me screamed, how can I leave the certainty of the corporate world, great benefits, etc. Sometimes it takes being completely miserable for us non-risk takers to take action. What gave me the courage to cast my lot entrepreneurial adventure? Ultimately, I realized it was that I knew Pat's character. Even though we had only been acquainted for a year, I trusted him. His deeply entrenched reputation of community, his role in our church, and most importantly, his relationship with his family, gave me the certainty that he had my best interest at heart and would provide a safety net for me. Today, I want to tell you about my lifelong mentor, who truly epitomized this. I met Charles McAllister when I was in about 4th grade. He was the varsity girls basketball coach at my school. I attended his summer basketball camp and began traveling with his varsity team, keeping the book and learning all that I could about the game of basketball and about life. From this beloved mountain man, I played with him for 4 years, and then I had the privilege of coaching with him for 3 years as an adult and counting him for almost 3 decades. He coached for 24 seasons. He amassed 496 wins and 8 state championships. More importantly, he was a second father to me and to many others. I'm going to read a letter written to him following his cancer diagnosis by one of his players. He actually coached the girls in the team for 2 seasons. The content is so rich and so applicable to life that I have edited it very little. I hope the impact this man had on countless lives, including mine, will ring through these words and inspire you to think about the incredible opportunity that lies before each of us in our own spheres of influence. Before I share the letter, I want to begin by telling you a little bit about Coach Max's mother. I suspect many of you are parents of human children and or pets, as I am. And perhaps on the hard days of general life and career, you might wonder if you're succeeding. You might wonder if your life is small, as there are times that we are drowning in the seemingly mundane parts of our existence. There are 2 obituaries that hang on the side of my refrigerator. and one of them was Coach Mack's mother. Her name was Annie McAllister. She was never on the cover of Forbes magazine, but I would rank her influence on par with any CPA. My favorite part that was written about her life reads as follows. Through the years, Mrs. McAllister was often heard saying, if someone needs help, then we should help them. Mrs. Mack, as she was called, was famous for her macaroni and cheese, her Sunday dinners, and her pound cake. Her home was a gathering place for family and friends, and her door was always open to anyone who was looking for a warm bed or a hot meal. She was truly a remarkable lady. So, as I begin my letter, we will now get to part 2, primarily for my 10 life hacks for happiness and success from the locker room to the boardroom. Sarah gets a lot of credit for my title. She's a big Taylor Swift fan and had a similar title to a graduation speech that she just delivered. So Coach Mack had been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. You know, everybody decided that she's really very aggressive sort of cancer, and his family was so gracious. They allowed anybody who wanted to come see them to come to their house. And as it turned out, he actually passed away that night after we were there. This is the thank you letter to Coach Mack. Dear Coach, thank you for one last time, the chance for your teams to come see you and be together and share our memories of our magical time together in our beach. In the most private and personal moments, you again showed up. You again showed us what it means to be unselfish and a team player by letting us be with you. I was just one of many people you touched, and I'm so grateful I had a chance to tell you how much you meant to me years back before you were sick. This week, I thought about all the things you taught me, and I wanted to thank you for these lessons. This list is nowhere near complete, and I'm sure as I go on in life, I will continue to find Coach Mack aha moments where I can see how to apply your wisdom. Number 1, show up for people. Sometimes this is all it takes to be a hero, to be someone that others can count on without fail. I'm sure it wasn't convenient when they asked you to coach the boys and the girls teams back in the late 80s. Now that I'm a coach, which actually is, I know the time and sacrifice involved, and you've already done it. But you did it anyway, and it changed the arc of my life. You gave me the joy of getting back. You gave confidence to an insecure young man, and very important male role model to someone who desperately needed it. You became my hero. Even though these words were written by one of his male players, my female teammates and I have all said it here, so hopefully our students. Number 2, cast a vision for those you lead. It sounds crazy, but in 10 years of basketball, you were the first coach to ever sit me down and tell me how I could build the team. I remember you talking privately with all of us at camp that summer when we first learned that you'd be coaching us. You telling me I'd be the trash man, expected to rebound and clean up parent shots. It wasn't glamorous, but with that simple act, you created a future for me to step into. You used phrases like, you remind me a lot of myself as a player. And at that point, I would have jumped on the grenade. I've tried to emulate your example in my coaching and professional life and show those I lead what's possible. Number 3, touch them all. If any of you grew up playing sports, you probably are familiar with the running, the conditioning that's involved. That was very, very true in basketball. So we run these sprints at the end of practice. Coach Mack asked us to touch every line on the court, so you get down and back, down and back. Details in life and in basketball matter. Sometimes the difference between success and failure is minuscule. Little things are big things, and people committed to doing the little things right every day are often more successful. Hence, we were required to touch them all when we ran those suicides. No shortcuts. If anybody did, I'm shortcut we did it better. So, nobody got it. Number 4, watch your mouth. Words matter, so measure what you say. Probably never had this problem with the girls' team, but us boys could get a little salty with our language, to which you would shout, "Watch your mouth." But more importantly, you never let us tear down each other, knowing that would kill our team chemistry and culture. You taught us instead to coach each other on the floor, to provide encouragement and reminders to each other of what's coming next, instead of criticism about what just went wrong. It's a lesson that I've tried to pass on to my teams as well. Number 5, coach forward, not backward. The game and life only moves in one direction. And I don't ever remember you calling a timeout to tell us what we just did wrong. We always do. Instead, you made adjustments going forward, and then you would tell us to turn up a notch. That's what it's fair to say. Increase communication. Number 6, don't let your work define who you are. I'm embarrassed to say this, but I've never knew until this week what you actually do for a living. I wasn't surprised to learn that you were a leader, highly respected in your profession as well, but I never heard you talk about it. In our work crazy culture, it was a good lesson that some of our most satisfying passions can come from something other than how we generate it. Number 7, invest your time wisely. You never get it back. I've learned over the years that all of my possessions, only 2 are irreplaceable: my time and those I love. You showed me a powerful lesson by investing your time in those whom you love. I'm sure you could have done more at work had you not spent all of those hours in the gym with us. But your example has allowed me to resist the siren song chasing the dollar over the years. I know I will never regret it. Number 8, accountability and discipline go hand in hand with love and gentleness. I found one of the hardest things to do in coaching is to demand high standards and accountability for one's actions, and also keep the environment fun and enjoyable for players to learn from their mistakes. Most coaches are one extreme or the other. Either they're Santa Claus with no discipline or rules, or Satan, sucking all the joy out of the parading and feeding their players. You were the rare coach that could balance it. Practice was organized and disciplined, as was the team, and yet I always left wanting more. I never walked out of the gym beat down or demoralized. My single greatest hope in coaching is that I can get close to doing this. Number 9, be a warrior, not a woman. We all know of and marvel at your 8 championships. You're one of only 2 coaches in South Carolina history to win 2 championships, girls and boys, on the same night. And yet you didn't teach us to seek trophies or to win at all costs. You knew that winners fall apart when they eventually encounter setbacks. Instead, you taught us how to be competitors, to win and lose with dignity and class, and to come back ready to fight the next game. You knew what was on the horizon for us in the military. There would be losses: failing in class and college, losing the job, losing a loved one, sick children, divorces. Life happens. And so you got us ready. You taught us to be resilient. That it's not a mistake in this shot or a turnover that matters. It's what happens next. It's how you recover for the next play. You showed us how to be warriors. Number 10, nice guys or girls finish first. What an incredible testament to your life and legacy that so many people showed up all year last night. This is the gathering of St. Louis. Not just family, players, and other coaches, but we even have a referee in the house. It's because of what you taught us about life and love and loyalty. The incredible example you laid out for us, caring for your life, caring and investing in all of us. Always putting others first, as only a gentleman or a lady would do. I learned this week that she had been a Navy corpsman early in your life. That pretty much says it all about what it means to have service work. Someone who would sign up to go into combat, not to inflict casualties, but instead to save others and provide rescue and comfort. It seems to me that you never gave up that mission because it's what you did for all of us. Out of all of these, Coach Matt, pearls of wisdom, the four that have resonated most in my personal and professional life have been show up. Being relational is how we were intended to thrive. We were made for community. Even you introverts, we were made for community. We all need our kitchen friends. Those are the people who show up when you're on eyes and help with food. And we all need our hold up the mirror friends. Those who will hold us accountable in the hardest times of life. The second one is to cast a vision for those you lead. And with two co-workers in the room, I can attest that this charge has been the biggest challenge. I found myself managing people again. But now I'm in my 40s and the dynamics have changed. My challenge currently is having a very tenured staff, several of whom are at the end of their working careers, but now wonderfully paired with young, ambitious new associates. So some creativity is required. I'm currently taking a leadership class with a focus on talent. To me, that's been much along the same lines of asking for advice from mentors. One of my favorite books is this Danny Meyer book called Setting the Table. He's a very well-known restaurateur and has a lot of restaurants in New York. In this book, he says, in the end, what's most meaningful is creating positive, uplifting outcomes for human experience and human relationships. Business, like life, is all about how you make people feel. Coach Mack was indeed the master of building teams because everyone felt like he or she had an important part. The third one for me has been, don't let your work define who you are. I would imagine that's a challenge for a lot of us in this room. We talk around our office so often about the first question we tend to ask when we meet people is what do you do for a living? Make time for causes in which you believe. Serve on nonprofit boards that stretch you, that require you to learn, that frighten you, that broaden your scope of the city, the state, and the world. Be a warrior, not a winner. This is definitely a countercultural idea. Over the weekend, I was watching that documentary series about Don Staley. Again, got basketball fans in the room. And it really settled on me. Every one of those young ladies on her team was a star. Everyone. Only 5 players can be on the court at a time. So that means 7 of them are sitting on the bench. And so a huge part of what Coach Stanley is teaching them is this very thing. How to be a warrior even when they may not feel like it. One of my favorite players is Victoria Saxton. I feel like this past season she came into her own in such a big way. I barely remember her play the first 3 years. But she hung in there. She truly became a winner by being a winner. So often we feel like to push ourselves and to do better, we may have to change venue. And I think that's another great life lesson watching my daughter's family too. You know, with the transfer portal, it's very easy to give up or to make a change. And so many of those young ladies, you've seen them hang there and really come into their own at just the right time. You might be the most important cheerleader or whatever group you find yourself serving. You might be the most important second person off the bench. You might be grandma on the back, the provider of a warm meal and a comfortable bed. In closing, one of my favorite movies is Seabiscuit. If you're a horse racing fan. There's a scene in that movie where Charles Howard, who owns the horse, is very afraid for Red Pollard, who's the jockey, to ride him because he had been hurt. He had broken his leg badly and really was advised to ride the horse again. And Red's response when Charles Howard said that he could be crippled for the rest of his life, Red Pollard responded, "I was crippled for the rest of my life. I got better." And speaking of the horse, Seabiscuit, he said, "He made me better." And then he looked at Charles Howard and he said, "You made me better." That's something I think of so often when we find ourselves in our places of work, in our families, and our friend groups. At the end of the day, can we say that we tried to make somebody better? And so often, it's through these very simple principles of showing up for someone, giving them a vision, being willing to make sacrifices on their behalf. I came across this quote in my leadership class that I'm taking currently from President Woodrow Wilson. He said, "You are not here merely to make a living. You are here in order to enable the world to live more amply, with greater vision, with finer spirit, with hope and achievement. You are here to enrich the world, and you impoverish yourself if you forget the area." I love some of that basic language. So lots of things I refer to this. One of the greatest, just two very simple questions that I've returned to so often throughout my career is, do you have a vision for how you can serve in the place where you are working, for the people with whom you work? If you have shared values and shared priorities, those are often the things that we provide that makes your food. And lastly, I actually just saw this quote yesterday. It's from Robert Louis Stevenson, who was a Scottish novelist. He actually wrote Treasure Island. He said, "Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds." Coach Mack died in 2018. Obviously, you can tell I still get a little emotional speaking about him. He was my friend for 30 years. And I think back to the influence that just the simple love and wisdom of his mother had on him, the influence that his love and wisdom had on me, and so many people who played for him and were just friends of his. And I hope some of what I've shared today will have a similar influence on you. I think so often we get caught up in the complexity of trying to be a good leader and having to perfect everything, manage everything. And at the end of the day, part of the purpose of the simplicity of the slides was just to remind us that sometimes it's just the simplicity of doing the little things. Touch all the lines, tell people what they mean to you. And at the end of the day, I do think those are the tips that help us feel successful and happy. We'll operate. Thank you all for your time.